Kora is the project that we have to pass on and share the methods, the principles, the ideas of basically my lifetime of study, of travel, of question, of teaching that has been influenced by all of the chances that I've been given from being involved in martial arts from very young age, to training sports, to being in performance arts also professionally, to also being involved in the movement culture and being part of many other traditions that have different views and models of the body-mind matrix and interface. So we've come up with a basic premise that we call the trichotomy that you can find in many other traditions, where we realize that in our experience in the world, we have our body, we have our awareness, and we have feeling qualities that sometimes relate to sensations or emotions, and we learn how to identify them and work with them. So in essence, what we're establishing with this is a body-centric practice through the body, through movement, where we are essentially studying ourselves and exploring ourselves and the dynamics that we have within our inner and outer environments. So we're making the most out of the technology and the resources that we have nowadays that we didn't have before. For example, all of the online teaching, whether it's Zoom, for instance, which became kind of the norm for many in the last few years, and all of the different platforms that allow for sharing of content and information, obviously understanding also the dynamics with each one of these platforms, and at the same time trying to balance this out with the in-person, considering how to approach this, how to promote this, how to open this, and what that entails, which changes quite a bit from sharing something online to actually meeting someone, and also acknowledging that certain aspects of passing on this information require much more than simple information. Passing on just drills, let's say, or ideas from a conceptual point of view, it's important, but with what we're trying to do, we relied heavily on creating cognitive references through the 5 senses that can provide a platform that is more stable, more anchored, more embodied, so you can work with some of the other principles that, if not, will be hidden, mysterious, esoteric. For the most, we're trying to increase our presence online with some of the videos that we're presenting, so people can get a bit of perspective and see if they have curiosity or even resonance with what we're doing. And then through the work of the people who have been involved for a long time already, like yourself and many others who are teaching and sharing these principles in their own way. Currently, we have many options, thanks to your work for the most, in the Czech Republic, where people have the online groups and teaching, the distance learning model, also the workshops. And I am currently more focused in the longer term, what we're labeling currently as an intensive, which ranges anywhere from 5 days to a month, where we're just basically doing a lot of work on a daily basis to try to hit a critical mass in terms of creating the conditions for you to observe many of these principles in action. As a principle, the school is completely open to anyone. But the further you go with certain dynamics, what we have observed over the recent opportunities of teaching is that it's helpful to become familiar with the models that we're using. The challenge with this is that we are, for example, phrasing and presenting things in a particular way that creates a reference for people, but we might be approaching things in a completely different manner. So, for example, we use the term teaching Qigong, but the way that we are using it, it's very different to any other Qigong modality that you would find out there. So that is a bit of a challenge, because when you just read what we're doing, or even more challenging if you just see the video stuff of what we do, it's we just jump into this conclusion of this is what it's occurring. So I suppose going over the podcasts, interviews, or videos that we have shared would be a good idea to begin with. And then we are in the process of creating other options for people via online course or something like this, to provide a bit of a foundational type of training that would then place you in a position where you can absorb and get much more out of the live events.